Well, would you mind sharing with my audience some of the things that you, as an Israeli, think Israel is doing wrong? Could you list out a few of the things that stick out to you?
Absolutely. The situation in the West Bank has gone on for way too long and needs to be there needs to be a solution put in place. Like I really believe it's rooted in declaring sovereignty over the West Bank and killing the idea of a two-state solution once and for all. Like we mentioned in this show already, I don't think there's any moral or ethical argument to be able to create a Palestinian state. I think it's wrong. I think it's morally corrupt for all the people of the Middle East. But also because if you ask the average Palestinian, I actually just had a Palestinian on my show last night who confirmed this to me. I said, if we give you a state in the West Bank, what's the first thing you guys are going to do? Get an army and attack Israel, which means we'll be back in exactly the place we're at right now, just in a couple of years. Israel will have to defend itself, and it will win. And so Palestinians will be in a position of suffering again. So I think the morally correct thing is declare sovereignty over the West Bank and kill that idea once and for all. So the international community cannot put it over our heads. And again, that you were asking me. Sorry, I got derailed. You were asking me specifically what are those things that Israel is doing wrong. That situation in the West Bank is wrong because while I will never call it an occupation of somebody else's land, because the only country that was ever there was Jordan, and when Jordan was occupying it, nobody cared. So now that Israel occupied it, nobody should care either.
Well, and just for clarity, that's why it's called the West Bank, even though it's on the east of Israel. It's the West Bank of Jordan. The Jordan River specifically. But I think that what's going on there, the military occupation that is in place could be replaced with a system that would work so much better for all of us and actually be able to create something fruitful. Because regardless of how you like it or not, like right now in the West Bank, people are coexisting. Like something, Ali, for example, I'm sure you've never heard of this because most people never talk about this. But, you know, in the West Bank, in cities like Ramallah, Nablus, and all the different refugee camps and stuff, I've been to a lot of these on the ground. You know, there's no Jews living in any Palestinian city in the West Bank. But there are Palestinians living in Jewish settlements, in Israeli settlements. Did you know this? There's Palestinians actually before October 7th in the city of Ariel, which is the biggest West Bank settlement. There's a Palestinian who had a hummus shop who used to live inside of Ariel. Not only that, in Ariel University in the West Bank, there are Palestinians from the West Bank studying in a Jewish settlement university and getting degrees and building their homes. It's like the most backwards reality in the world. So I think that just morally, it's corrupt what we're doing there. We have to find a solution. So you think Israel should just say, right, enough of this like tension. This is just ours. Like just go.
Yes.
Like, is that just like this is ours? Israeli flag. Just like all this fighting. Like that's going to shock a lot of people.
Of course,
to hear that they're going to think, well, you know, you're just doing exactly the thing that we've accused you of doing. You know.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, people have accused us of settler colonialism since day one of the state's creation. But I mean, like the only settler colony that exists is the pan-Arab conglomerate that exists in the Middle East that is oppressing every single ethnic minority in the region. And by the way, I think many, many Arabs in the West Bank would be ecstatic about the idea of living under Israel. Because just the alternative right now is so much worse. Like the PA is really, really oppressive towards Palestinians.
Like, okay, but paint the picture for us. Like when you say like that'd be like it'd be a worse nightmare essentially if it's the opposite, and it may be ecstatic if it was the Israeli state. Like paint a picture for us. What would happen if like you know the Palestinian authorities or Hamas or whoever got in charge of that? What would that look like for your average family living in that, you know, a Palestinian run region?
If Hamas got control of the West Bank?
Yeah.
Well, it would be October 7th on every single Jewish settlement. Like this is a known thing. Every single Jewish settlement would be razed to the ground. And, you know, I mean, a lot of the settlers are armed. So it would basically be like a little civil war. But unless the IDF stepped up into, you know, defend the Jews living there, it would be an October 7th massacre. And then it would immediately go to rocket launchers. And I need people to think about this, and you specifically, I need you to think about this geographically, because it actually involves, you know, the country that you're ethnically from. Iran, if the West Bank takes control, or if the Palestinians take control over the West Bank, there is a direct supply line from Tehran to Ramallah, to Nablus. It goes Iran, Iraq, Jordan, West Bank. Like, it's a direct line. There's no more funneling things in through Gaza. There's no more shipping things randomly underground in tunnels. It's just, you give them a country, it's a direct line. And that means ICBMs, that means hypersonic missiles, that means tactical nukes. in the West Bank. It's indefensible.
That's end of story. In terms of, like, if people don't want World War III, if people want de-escalation, if people want more lives saved, it might actually mean just giving Israel West Bank.
Yeah.
That's going to be... And people don't like that, though, dude, because people just don't... Well, first of all, people hate Israel. People hate the Jews.
True.
For all kinds of complicated conspiratorial reasons.
Yeah.
Like the aliens are running the world or something, It's like people have all kinds of made-up stuff, but what they are really not willing to do is say that Israel winning is actually going to create peace and a good thing, and it's actually going to help the Arabs long-term and even short-term. Like, it's just going to be... I can already tell people watching this are just going to like, huh? You can't do that. You can't let Israel do something that we've accused them of doing, because that's,
There's an incredible advocate. You have to have him on your show if you haven't already. His name is Yishai Fleischer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who he is.
No.
You got to have him on the show. He's amazing. And he always coins this talking point of, when Israel was loved the most? In 1967, when we, for a lack of better terms, when we kicked the asses of all the Arab countries who were coming to murder us. When were we loved by the West? In 1948, when all the Arab countries came to murder us in a genocidal war, and we won. Yeah. When did they love us the most in recent history? When we did the beeper attack against Hezbollah. That's when we became popular for a week. Everybody was like, wow, that was impressive. So actually this idea of thinking like small Israel needs to be like small and be democratic, and no. When we're kicking ass and we're badass and we're actually winning and we're expanding, I'm not saying like we need to be greater Israel, but when we're expanding our borders to secure borders, I'm sorry, I have no more mercy in my heart left for Arabs, specifically like, for example, what we saw in Syria. When Arabs lose control of the land that they've had for 100 years and use it to do attacks against Israel, who is not bothering them, I'm sorry. If you attack us from that land and we conquer it, in my opinion, ours, that's it. No more talking. We don't need to have a conversation about it. You've had access to this land for 100+ years.
Yeah.
You're choosing it to do warfare. It's ours now.